So my question is, why is nobody playing spiders? Cast your mind back to Elestrals' first open event in Dallas, where we saw Bo take the win with their photosynthesis deck.
God, wow. And Bo wants it.
My God.
Oh my good, look at Bo.
Dallas was also hosted before the release of Moonrise, so Dan and the team saw this opportunity to show off some of the new cards which would be coming out in a couple of weeks after the event. Dan, also known as A-Drive, the creator of Elestrals, as you know, has a challenge where you can battle against him. You win one of his A-Drive Divine promo cards, which are very sought after, and this was the first opportunity for a lot of people to be able to challenge him and try and win one of these cards. So one of the decks Dan brought was Spiders. From my understanding, this deck won pretty much every game and against every person who played against it. This obviously could have been because no one had played Spiders before in the community. This was the first time they'd seen it. Not many people knew how to play around it, but I genuinely think it's because Spiders is a good deck. But again, even after seeing how Dan performed and months later, why is nobody playing Spiders? Anyway, I thought today we'd look at Spiders ourselves. Clash is finally being released, and I believe every single card you need for a decent Spiders deck is in Clash. So we're going to head into Clash, see what Spiders is like. So this is the deck we have been running on Clash, and it has been performing pretty well. I built this before the Kinleo hit, so Kinleo is now at 1. It used to be at 3, so it was a lot nicer when Kinleo was at 3. Also, this deck was also built before Clash was released to the public. So I haven't built it since then, so the record is 0-0 with this, but it was something like 10-1, 11-2. It was really good anyway. But yeah, this is the list. So the mites are running. We are running 3 Warmite Champion Hestia. This is the best card in the deck if used correctly. So every time it receives a fire, you can give an opponent Elestral, or your own Elestral if you want to, -3 attack until the next turn. And then when Hestia's Half is also cast, you can return 2 Fire Spirits from your Underworld's Spirit deck. So not only is it a great attacker when paired with Hestia's Half, dealing 2 damage to your opponent, so swinging not knowing it's set, it also is a good healer, healing 2 spirits at the same time. But then we are running 1 normal Warmite. I don't think you need more than 1. It's nice in certain positions where you can cast it. Something with big attack you can manage by force swing over with something else. It can deal with stuff the Champion of Hestia doesn't deal with, especially when you don't have half set. But again, I don't think you need more than 1. Onto the Frostmites, we've got 2 Frostmites. Same as the original Warmite, apart from these reduced defense by 5. Really good against rabbits, well, anything with big defense really. But this deck is a deck which wants to go second, because you don't want to cast out Frostmite there, cast something at the time and you can't do anything with it. So I'd definitely go second. Then to help us search the Warmite and the Frostmite out, we've got the Kite Mites. So we are running 3 Kite Mites. Obviously, again, if you've got Liar set, you play the Kite Mite, draw 1, disenchant from the Kite Mite, go into the Warmite or the Frostmite, depending on what your opponent's got, draw another card. Really, really, really strong card. And then for the final Spiders, we are running 2 Arachnid. This is basically just like a Lith. So if Arachnid's Lair is enchanted, you can just you can just normal cast this with 2 wind, and you get a 6/5 on board. I do find this gets shielded quite often, hence why we are running 5 wind spirits. But like I said, it's just like a Lith. It's really easy to get on the board. Talking of Liths, we have then got 1 copy of Lava Lith. You all know how good this card is. Hence why it's limited to 1 copy like Kinleo. But yeah, Lava Lift super strong. You can normal cast it with fire if your opponent's got 2 more enchanting spirits than you do. Doesn't always come into play for that cast. Obviously you get to destroy the rune as well when that happens. But because with cards we've got in here, we are trying to swarm the board. So that Lava Lift doesn't work that way. But you can normal cast. You can normal ascend over another Fire Elestral and also get the effect. And that is why we are running 2 copies of Rummikol over Jolton. So Jolton is a 4-stat, so obviously it is stronger than the Rummikol. But Jolton you need Thunder Spirits for. I've picked Rummikol to search out for the Arachnid's Lair. Rummikol, obviously, if someone targets it, I wouldn't save it unless you are desperate to get Lava Lift out. But Rummikol then, it's basically just there to be ascended over. So again, you ascend into Lava Lift over it, or even ascend into Necroth, which we've got 2 copies of. I send Necrof with water. It's then immune to tsunamis, and you're still getting the burn if you destroy an Elestral in battle. I did mention earlier Kinleo was limited to 1, hence why we are now running 2 small Tuga, which helps search for the Kinleo. Not only this, it just makes sense because it searches for the War Mites as well, or the Necrof if you need it. We've got 2 copies of Arachnid's Lair. I've won games without Arachnid's Lair. I don't think you need it. Obviously you need it in the deck because if you see it, you're obviously drawing cards, which is going to help you win the game along the line. But I have won plenty of games without the Arachnid's Lair. Now a card I believe you need in Spiders is Hestia. We're running 3 copies of Hestia. So Hestia just allows you to special cast a 1 Spirit Fire Elestral from your hand if your opponent controls the same or more Elestrals than you. So your opponent goes first, they cast Rabbit. You know you need to deal with a Rabbit. So you normal cast Frostmite, you then go Hestia, and then you cast a Warmite as well. Or you cast a Necrof. It just piles pressure on your opponent. It basically just means if they've got the counter rune to stop 1 attack, and then you've Hestia'd something else out, they can't stop the other attack. But Hestia for me is a really slept on card, especially when Kinleo was at 3. Hestia was so good. This card splits opinions massively. Some people like it, some people don't. I feel like you heal enough with this deck to be able to run a couple of them. Obviously you're drawing cards off the Arachnid's Lair as well, so there's an argument that you don't need the extra draw. But I do like Nectar of the Gods, and I think it works well in this list. For the counter ruins, obviously we are running triple Gorgon's Gaze. Obviously just the best counter rune in the game. We are running triple Shield. Again, Shield, people have different opinions on Shield, but I feel like, especially when you're trying to go wide with this deck and swarm the board, Shield is great. You have two or three things on the board. They cast something which can swing over 1. Shield it. Yes, it's coming out next turn, but your next turn you can potentially swing for 3 or 4 damage anyway. So Shield feels really strong in this list. But yeah, now onto the card which is the most important card of the deck in my opinion, Hestia's Hearth. So Hestia's Hearth is great paired with the Warmite, which is the only thing you're really going to use it with. You can use it with a Necrof if you want to water enchant your Necrof. Hestia's Hearth to get a Fire Spirit on. But I would save this for when your opponent swings. Again, you can use it when you swing, but I feel like you're not getting the full potential then. Wait for your opponent to swing into the Warmite. Hestia's Hearth, enchant the fire onto the Warmite, minus their attack by 3. Because you've then enchanted into a champion of Hestia, Hestia's Hearth allows you to enchant another Fire Spirit onto that card. Again, minusing their opponent by another 3. It means their attack is -6. And then 9 times out of 10, they don't have the back row to stop the attack. But even if they do, you are forcing them to then stop their own attack with the likes of Tsunami. But if they don't do that, they're then swinging into your Warmite, they've got no attack. Their opponent's getting destroyed and they're taking 2 additional damage. So it is just a great sort of battle trick. So sort of lure your opponents into swinging into Warmite and then them dying. Then you go into your turn with obviously the 3 spirits on Warmite. You are swinging for massive damage if they've got no back row. Like I said, the only way I've seen people get around this is then they attacking you Hestia's Hearth in. They either Gorgons your Warmite, which stops that, which is probably the worst thing that can happen there because you're losing the Warmite and the Hestia's Hearth. Or they can Tsunami to stop their attack, or change you to defensive, their water enchanted. Doesn't feel as bad as Gorgons, but they are the only 2 things which stop it. But then you can also look at the positives and say, well, they've wasted a back row in their own attack. So yeah, this is the deck list. Feel free to try it out. Let me know any improvements you would change. If you do try it out, tell me how you get on with it. But yeah, what we're going to do now is we're going to jump into a couple of games. So I do hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know if there is a deck you want me to do a video on. So we are going second here. We've got the Kinleo, we've got the Hestia. There's no back row. We've got Arachnid's Lair, no spiders, but the Nog makes you want to keep this. I mean, we do have the Kinleo and Hestia, which is a great combo. I think we'll keep this and we'll see what it's like. I would have liked some back row and maybe a Warmite or Kitemite. But we'll see how it goes. We can always expend to draw if needed. But yeah, looks like we're probably playing against Blizz, which might not be the greatest of matchups actually if they hit everything. But like I said, we do have the Kinleo and Hestia, so that does clear a lot of things. Well, it clears everything if it doesn't get stopped. But they've gone straight for the Broomalinx, which is a 5. The good thing about Blizz is there's probably not a lot of back row in Blizz. So we probably won't stop a lot of things. There we go. So there's a second Hestia, which is not a good draw. We'll go for Nog. We'll use 2 fires. We do have an Ambrosia if we need to get spirits back. PTA and Gorgons, it sees us the back row. I mean, really, we can Hestia. We can expend to draw Hestia, get a Kinleo out anyway, which I feel like is probably a good thing to do here. I feel like we get rid of another fire, and we get the third Hestia. I mean, there's Clash Shuffler Fire. That's not what you want to see. That's not a great start, but we will. Let's turn this off. We'll cast Hestia. We'll start dealing some pressure. We've got the back row to save the Kinleo, but I would go for on Hestia. If we had the War Might here as well, that'd be insane. But yeah, we'll disenchant 2 from Hestia. And get the Kinleo. I mean, we're doing 3 damage straight up here, so that's great. Good news is we can't draw any more Hestias, because we have all 3. We do not need all 3 in hand. 1 is enough. But we cannot do anything about that. Obviously, we have the Arachnid's Lair to clear their Mountains of Boreas off as well. We'll go... Do we go... Yeah, we'll go 2 because we have more Hestias, so I can always Nexus them back onto another one. We'll destroy the Broomalinks, swing for 3 damage. Enter battle phase. I do need to watch out clicking this fast as well. I played a game earlier today. I was running Bear Turbo, or Ursaden Turbo, I can't remember what they call it. I had Ursaden out, and I went to pass the response, pressed too many times, and just went straight to battle phase without disenchanting from Den. So yeah, that was a loss, but we'll see how this goes. Hand is not looking great, so there's another Broomalink. So they're probably going to search out for a Blizzard here. I don't really want to have to use Gorgons. PTA wouldn't be enough though, that's the problem. So yeah, I think we're going to have to Gorgons this. Because PTA would make it a 3, which would be a crash. Yes, they'd take damage, but it would kill the Kinleo. And because we have no extra guys in our hand, I feel like that's the right thing to do. No back row again, so we're clearing this. And, I mean, we could be so greedy here. We could go Hestia, put another 2 on Kinleo, have a 5 Spirit Kinleo. We're not going to do that. We do have a Kite Might now, which is good. So we'll start off with the Lair. I feel like we have to use Ambrosia to get some Fire Spirits back here. Cross Chain. Cross Response. We'll go Kite Might. That's a Frost. No! Okay, we just saved it in time. Wind. That would have been a drastic misplay. I mean, we still would have cleared the Broomalinks, but it would have been a waste. We draw the 1 from the Arachnid's Lair, which is another PTA, which isn't great. Disenchant the Wind from Kite Might. Go into War Might Champion. And attack. We'll lower the Broomalinks. What do we do with the Kinleo here? Broomalinks goes down by 3. Do I just save? Do I save the spirits on the Kinleo so we can attack? There's Arachnid, which should come out next turn, which is a nice draw actually. Or I can. Decisions. Decisions. Do I go on to? No. Okay, so well, Ambrosia is needed. I mean, we've run out of time. There's the timer for you. So that's made our decision up. Please sort the timer out. It is so. Kinleo is potentially dead next turn as our camera turns off because apparently the Elgato system isn't great. So our PC just doesn't like anything. It just seems to be closing down the software, so it's really annoying. We'll swing with Kinleo before we run out of time. Before we get done over again. There we go, we're back. We are back. So yeah, Kinleo takes 3 damage, which is massive, especially against the likes of Blizz. I probably would have liked to Nexus the stuff back to a Hestia. It just means we've got to hope they cast a 5. No, yeah, no, we need less than a 5, so Broomlinks again. Snowlet's here. I feel like we risk the mill here. I think we go PTA, I think we have to. So we'll go 1 off the Kinleo. Just because if the Kinleo dies anyway, we're just wasting spirits, so we might as well try. Hope they don't hit an Aspral. The 1,000,003. Shield Gorgon's Harpoon, which is great. The only thing which could save them here is an Avalanche, which they don't have. They can't swing over. We'll pay the PTA out with a Wind. Again, no back row, so we clear the board. There's another Ambrosia. So we'll use our Ambrosias now. We'll go 1 off Kinleo because we don't need it anymore. I feel like we bring 2 fires and the Wind back just in case we see another Kite Knight. And this then allows us to use the Arachnid without the wasting the spirits and then getting a Cat Knight off the draw, because we probably will get one. It's normally the case, you get rid of your spirits, then you draw the card which some spirits would have been useful for. Gorgons is perfect here actually. So yeah, we set 2. Again, Kinleo's still on field, which is great. Enter battle phase. Swing for 4 damage. Again, obviously it helps, there's been no back row to stop anything. That's what Blizz is. Blizz is a big gamble. And if you haven't seen the new cards as well, sort of Blizz support, Catarant and Iwooly coming out. I feel like the Catarant will be played in Blizz. I feel like the Iwooly is too much. I think that'll be its own deck. But still, really, really strong cards. So we'll be trying them out. Snowlet, I feel like we'll just Gorgons this now. I don't know how many cards they've got in deck, which is annoying. Again, please make that a thing. Because if they had like 30 cards in deck, I'd probably let that go through. But I don't know what they have. They haven't seen a Cedasaur yet. Could be one in hand. But we'll Gorgons it, not risk it. There we go. And the scoop. But yeah, that's the deck. Please try it out. I think Spiders is so fun. It does lose heavy into Antitan if you don't stop the Antitan from coming out. The thing is now with the Antitan as well, you play it with the new Spectrus and Artemis. It's really easy to go into Ardvarum, which is the card which kills Spiders. But yeah, I think Spiders is great. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. That's the only deck it struggles against, I'd say. But yeah, I really think it can hold its own. So yeah, if you try this list out, let me know how you get on. Any changes, again, also leave it in the comments. A deck you want me to try out, please make it on Clash. It's easier now that Clash is out. I can do videos like this. But yeah, I'll get around to doing that. But yeah, until next time, I'll see you later.